I remember those days watching movies like that. Happy evening, good people. Guess what? It's October 31st, 2025. Yep, it's Sugar Spike Day. No? No? Okay, it must be Cavity Creation Day. Yay! No, not that either. Are you sure? Okay, maybe it's $25 Monster Mix Candy Bag Day. Yeah, is that more like it? Kinda? It's Halloween. Ah, I was gonna go out this evening, but then I looked at the time and decided I didn't want to be on the road with those crazy but loving parents trying to get their little goblin over to the church's Hallelujah Harvest Party. I mean, if they can't wear their $30 costume or $50 costume for 2 hours, it can be a childhood trauma that they sit and cry over at their therapist when they're an adult. I know, I know, I know, I know. So I've decided to stay in and relax. You know, I was so glad to learn the commercialization of it all. I mean, I a while back I realized in this country every month there is something to celebrate. Now, it sounds all good, but if you do a historic deep dive, those celebrations are intentionally misidentified religious or cultural occurrences of the Aboriginal people that they were celebrating and honoring their identity and culture. Oh my gosh, how painful it must have been to have your identity and culture hijacked and reduced to a superficial money grab. Ugh. Even when you try to honor the original meaning of the event, you're overwhelmed by external influences that consume you. And before you know it, so much time has passed, the original meaning of the event fades. Yes, the sacred scriptures, songs, and dances and adornment have been commercialized and stripped of their real life meaning that feeds you and sustains you throughout the year. And it's replaced with some little bright, colorful ads and some glitz and glamour, some fun little jingle, and some sweet treats. But don't worry, in 24 hours, there's a new ad for another soulless event that costs you money. But it fills the pockets and the coffers of big business. Yes, I have fond memories of taking part in those celebrations in the commercialized way. I bought the costumes, the treats. Me and my daughter, we would go to events and we had a really great time. But I began to realize the older she got, of course, she became a little less interested. And me too. It was like, there's a lot of money going out for one day. And I began to really look. I said, really, what I wonder what this is really all about. And when I learned that these celebrations, big holidays, little holidays were connected to real people, I was shocked because you don't think of that when you're out there having your fun and listening to the jingles and singing the songs and wearing the cute little, very expensive costume for the one day event. And one year I just paid attention. I said, this is interesting. So I started researching and I began to, it felt right to stop doing things in the commercialized manner. And I really, yes, it was a process to get us into it, to that commercialized event, and it's a process to get out of it. And I was so glad I woke up and started paying attention, even if it was a little things at first. Um, I'm just so glad that I'm not nuts. It felt off. Once you begin to notice the little things, it begins to start to add up that something is not quite right. You don't know what it is, but eventually your mind starts to put the pieces together. Then you have to think, okay, is this really something big for me to focus on or not? But when you begin to see it's not a coincidence, you begin to pay attention and see how the little things begin to add up and the picture gets bigger and it gets fuller and it's like, oh my, this is a very deep layered lie, and you have to try to start taking off those layers and figuring out how you're going to really navigate and what you're going to do. But we've gone through these soulless, empty money grab celebrations so often that even the big business is tired of them. I really do think they're like, oh man, we done did this to pieces, and they're tired of it. We're tired of it, and it's just really something. As loyal as we've been to their agenda, um, they filled their coffers, they got all the money, they bought everything that they could think of, and some things they haven't thought of, and they're empty. I think they're emptier. And I am glad that we're empty as well. We're tired of it. We're tired of that superficial lockstep march to more emptiness. And that's why I don't mind, or not just me, many others, they don't mind the canceling of the commercialization of Thanksgiving and Christmas because we are paying attention. And it's like we follow this agenda, we've given our all, and we will not be paying for a new agenda with our freedom, our healthcare, education, access to food and water. Really? Okay. We're just, it's, I mean, we can always meet with family. It doesn't have to be just on Thanksgiving or just on Christmas. I never waited until a birthday or a holiday to buy a toy or I saw a cute sweater. It wasn't all the time, but it was enough for my child to understand. Hey, I don't have to wait till Christmas to get a toy. She was she lived a good life. I had pretty good balance. It wasn't perfect, but it was a process, and I'm glad that we see the commercialization in those events and we get together, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, or just because it's Taco Tuesday, we get together. So family time is whenever you want it to be. And I'm glad that people are realizing that. Well, I have learned, as you can see, I've learned a great deal, and I strive to change to the truth, not the propaganda. It's a process. But I will always remember this journey to truth started with me paying attention. So you have a safe evening as you enjoy the evening's festivities. And I'll talk to you later.